Hey everybody. Hey everybody, welcome to Life of Sunny Lee, and it's week 20 of our cleaning and decluttering of the house. And one of the things we're going to work on this week is something that, the very last thing I'm talking about is something that nobody likes to think about, but it's been heavily on my mind this week. My best friend has been in hospice all week, and this morning I got word that she had passed on. And I had my own health scare and had to have a biopsy and got word today that everything's okay. But it made me think a lot. So this last thing on this list is very important because, well, you never know when you're going to die. So stay tuned and find out what we're doing this week. Hey everybody, welcome to Life of Sunny Lee, and this week we're going to work on the file cabinets. Now I don't know what kind of filing system you use, but if it's like my system, and I have more than one, I have one for a regular house, I have one for upstairs for the business, and I have one for the animals that we keep. So our filing system is quite a mess. It needs to be cleaned out. And if you haven't got a filing system, then you should actually start one. And what you need to do is go through each folder and decide if it's important, it's enough to keep, and then go through it and keep only the most important things so that it doesn't build up so that's thick. Like my phone one here is this thick. And I can probably eliminate it completely since we now have online billing. These are all past bills that we have. Now, if you do have past bills that you paid and you don't do them online now, and you still get the paper ballot, you don't really have to keep this many. A year's worth is all you need to keep. Unless it's for taxes, then you need to keep at least 3 to 7 years worth to prove that you have used it for taxes. So we're going to go through the filing cabinet this week, 15 minutes a day. Every night, just pick up a folder, go through it, and keep the papers that are important and get rid of the ones that aren't. And the ones that you don't keep, you need to put through the shredder and shred them. Now, another thing you need to do is keep a very important file, and I keep mine at the front, and this should include your very important papers. It should include your will and testament. If you haven't got one, you should make one. It should include your passports, your marriage certificate, insurance policies, and a very important paper, which you should keep here, and also put a copy of it in your notebook. And that's what I call in case of the worst. Or in other words, in case you die. What do you want done? Now, no one likes to think about it, I know, but you need to make a list of different things that you want, especially if you have a special feeling about how you want your body to be taken care of, what you want done, and all that stuff. So we're going to take a piece of paper and we're going to write on here, first of all, the people that need to be contacted first, the ones that you do not want them to find out through social media or through the newspaper. So make a list of who you want to contact first. You want to make a list whether you're an organ donor or not. You want to have that. You want to have on there whether you want to be resuscitated or not. You should have your power of attorney papers in with this will and testament. You have to decide about what you want your body. Do you want to be donated to science? Do you want to be an open funeral or closed casket funeral? Do you want a funeral at all, or maybe just a life of celebration? You have to make those decisions and write that. And if it doesn't matter to you, fine, but if it does, and a lot of people do, they have this thing that they do not want to be cremated at all, and some people don't want to be embalmed. And there's different rules that you have to follow for these things. So you need to look those up. Talk to your local funeral director. And that's another thing. Which funeral home do you want to go to? You have to write that down too. Who you want to do your makeup. Who you want to do your hair. Write all this down so people know and they're not worried at the last minute. Because they'll have so much to worry about, grief and stuff, that they're not going to want to even consider all this stuff. And they might not even know who your hairdresser is. Another thing you need to look, I'm looking at my notes here. What kind of burial do you want? Do you want a fancy one? Do you want a big old fancy coffin? Or you just want a plain little box? Or do you want to be naturally buried? Some people, sometimes that's an option. Sometimes it's not. Do you want a church wedding? Do you want a church funeral, or do you want a funeral home funeral, or like I said, celebration life? Do you want to have flowers sent, or you want them to send gifts, or you want a memorial to some place? You know, make that. Do you have special songs that you want to have sung, or a special verse that you want read? Special music you want them to play. Also, you need to make a list of all the insurance that you have. You need to write your, if you have Social Security box, you need to write, also find out Social Security checks, and are they on it? Who do you contact to take care of that? Do they have a security box at the post office bank? What the number is on that? Also, your banking account, checking accounts, any credit cards that you have. You need to know where the will or the trust is and who it's with. And also, if you have animals, you have to make a list of what you want done with them. Who have you made arrangements for someone to take them if your family doesn't want them? Make a list of that. And I know this is something people don't like to think about, but it's very important because you want to make this time of grief and stuff as easy on the other person as possible. And you need to think about stuff like that also. Let's see what else we're going to do. We're going to get the clutter out of the house. Remember, shred up anything that has your address or phone numbers or account numbers on it, and get those out of the house. Also declutter anything else that needs to go in, and continue to declutter the system and keep it up to date. Filing systems get really messed up quickly because you keep adding to them and you never take the time to go through them and get rid of the stuff. In my animal file, I've got files in there of animals that have passed, and there's no need to keep those files, so I need to clean those out. Just different files like that. If you have a car that you no longer have, there's no need to keep all the equipment, all the maintenance and stuff that you have with that. So you can clean that all out. If you have a new car, make a file for it with the title for it, and any maintenance that you've done on it. Keep that into the file. So just set up a filing cabinet and clean it out. Like I say, keep bills that you're paying a year if you're doing paper ballots. If you're doing electronic, don't worry about it, because you can always bring those up because you won't have a paper bill to keep track. And that's what we're doing this week. We're taking around 15 minutes a day and doing it at night, because during the day I'm working at the garden, getting it planted and stuff, and trying to outrun the weeds. So like, share, subscribe, and see what we get to do next week to declutter and clean. So stay safe and God bless. Bye, everybody.